Good morning, Lucky Lefty podcast. We were unable to do a show yesterday. We're brought to you by Onora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, NoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure you do so responsibly. I know you guys are looking at me crazy, right? So here it is. I lost a bet with my younger brother on the basketball court. And the bet was is that I could not get a shave or a haircut for 3 weeks. So this is my final day of this bet. I cannot wait to go see my barber. It has been frustrating. It's one thing to just let your hair grow because you have a plan, but to not be able to do anything because of a bet, man, whew, it's the last day you see your boy looking like this. Apple Podcasts and Spotify, CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown, all of our great content. Make sure you lock in, CFB Nation. We need you to go over there and follow us. Great content, CFB All American, Rise and Draft, Ryan Roberts. Lock in with us so we go exclusively in the fall. You know what to do. YouTube, the thumb, hit it. We appreciate you guys. Leave your comments. We respond to all. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different. I want to start off by playing this. Marcus Freeman talking about 1A and 1B when it comes to his roster and how he sees it.
Yeah, I look at the DB position, right? The safety position. That's a deep group, right? You talk about Houston and DJ and Brandon Joseph and Ramon and Xavier. That group will have a 1A and 1B for sure. And it's something going into the spring you probably didn't know. The D line is extremely deep, and that's with Jason not practicing, but with Foskey and Justin and Howard Cross has had an unbelievable spring. I mean, an unbelievable spring. And he's done a great job, and Lacey, and I can go on, but I think the depth of our middle, right, up the middle, we're really, really deep, especially defensively, from the D-line to the linebackers to the safeties. Right up the middle, we're deep. We have to continue to develop some young guys. With Cam's out at corner, so we got to develop some young guys at corner. The O-line, I wouldn't say we're 1As and 1Bs yet, but I'm really, really pleased with some of those 1As. And so, again, the running back position would never be. I think up the middle, we're really, really strong, and we have to continue to develop on the edges.
Marcus Freeman, just last season, talking about his vision for the roster, being 1A and 1B. We're going to talk about that. Have they gotten to a point where the roster is now 1A and 1B? And can Marcus Freeman's vision, uh, can we see it? Can we see it? Left, what's good, man?
We here. We here today.
We're here, bro. Left, let me ask you a question before we get to this comment. We just heard from Marcus Freeman talking about his roster and being 1A and 1B. And then we're going to get to the first topic with Notre Dame, which is we know the three big games. The bulk of the responsibility for those three games, do they rest on Marcus Freeman and his shoulders, or do they rest on the players? Are those three games about Marcus Freeman, or are those three games about Notre Dame and his players? We're going to get to that. Answer, make sure, I just told everybody, you see me left, I've been looking like this for 3 weeks, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I lost the bet to my younger brother on the basketball court.
Oh man.
Today is the final day of the bet. I finally get to go get a haircut tomorrow.
You say you had to keep that thing growing out, huh?
Bro, this has been, man.
So you don't like the growing out the hair. process.
No, I like growing my hair out when I know I'm growing it out. But when someone is telling me that I can't get a cut
Mm.
because I lost a bet, at least
You starting to notice every hair that grows in.
at least let me line up the beard
Yeah.
or get a lining or something. I put in for I put in paperwork last week via text, like, man, can I please at least go get a lining? I'm doing a
Straight up, like
podcast.
help me out,
Right. He's like, no, a bet is a bet.
No.
No, it's crazy. LL question of the day. Now, this is going to be a quirky question, Left. If you're home alone and you have to use the restroom, do you close the door? If you're home alone and you have to use the restroom, do you close the door? It's the LL question of the day. We'll get to it in a little bit, bro.
When you have kids, though, it's an
But I
open
said,
door policy.
see, that's funny. See, I'm looking at the comments now,
You
and they're
lose the
making me,
door.
and they're making me feel better. I'm looking at some of the comments now, and they're making me feel better. So, Marcus Freeman talked about 1A, 1B. They face off against USC, Ohio State, Clemson. I think Marcus Freeman matured as a head coach. And as always, we give credit to other people that covered Notre Dame. Pete Sampson recently put a great article on The Athletic about Marcus Freeman, year one to year two. Go read it if you haven't read it, folks. It's a really good article. But we pointed out that we saw the light bulb go off for Marcus Freeman halfway through his first year. Not so much for 2022, but he saw what he had wasn't it. And he made difficult decisions halfway through his first year that were more long term decisions rather than decisions for that season. So for me, Marcus Freeman has already gone there. He beat Clemson. That was a big game. He beat Clemson. He went out to LA against USC, didn't have enough weaponry, offensively or defensively, to really deal with USC. Loses
Yeah,
his
I mean, we didn't have the personnel quite right.
loses his first bowl game by dominating the first half, got blamed for not making adjustments. Well, comes back in the Gator Bowl. South Carolina jumps out early. He makes the adjustments. Notre Dame wins. He's able to coach over his quarterback, committing 3 turnovers. Yo, clap the hands for him.
Yeah.
My point is, at this point, as the Notre Dame roster, to the point where you can just roll the ball out in these 3 big games and say, hey, it's on you all, big dogs. Go eat. Go eat. Like, this is what the program is. Go eat. Or will this still be something that is heavily controlled by the game planning going into these games? I'm interested in how you view this, Left. I really am. Is it a game by game thing, or do you think collectively you'll have the same thought process?
Uh, I think it's probably a game to game. The mantra you roll into the season with is you want to be a 1-0 mentality. So game to game is definitely, for a schedule that we have, is what needs to be in the focus of remaining in the present And remaining the present helps you not surmise the whole schedule and be like, man, it's going to be tough to get to the playoffs. But you start 1-0 each week. I mean, that's going to build on each other and put us in good position. But I think it's better one step at a time with the focus in mind of the bigger picture.
Preparation is something. Now, remember when he came out that Monday before Clemson and he stood up before the media and he said, "Oh, we're ready to go right now. Like, if we had to play today, my team is ready." And I was like, "Yo, I don't know if that's like disrespectful towards Syracuse."
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew we'll smash those dudes, so we've been preparing for Clemson for like 2 weeks. Or if that was just really a focus that they had coming out of their Sunday practice
Yeah.
to be locked in and focused on the task at hand and knowing exactly what they needed to do from a game plan standpoint to defeat the Clemson Tigers. Game plan, in my opinion, and LL, please chime in. How many times was the game plan a big issue for you going into games last year, Left?
So early on, it was pretty frustrating for me because for who we were playing and what we had on the team at the time and what we should have been anticipating, it was underwhelming to be going into games like Marshall,
Mm-hmm.
having 10 points before half, going into Stanford, scoring a total of 12. Ohio State, even though we played great defensively, only putting up 14.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it worse when articles like the brilliant young minds in college football and Tommy Reese is number one. You're like, well, where was those brilliant minds when we're scoring 12 and 14 and 16 against teams we should be beating? So that's what made it frustrating is because apparently we had the answer already at play caller.
Mm.
The brilliant minds in college football, we had the number one dude. And to be 45th in scoring offense, it doesn't seem too brilliant to me. So now having a less of an expectation of hype around the offensive coordinator, it brings us back down to reality of okay, focusing on the team.
Mm.
And if the team splash is led by Sam Hartman, oh, okay, they found their issues. They're able to get on track and the preparation stands out because you got everybody included in the game plan. You heard uh, Jared Parker say he's taking a little bit from everybody and going in on making the right game plan. So I think that collective effort is going to help be better prepared as a team week to week. But it's not as disappointing in my opinion going into next year as opposed to last year where apparently we had all the answers and wasn't matching that on the field.
So, Prime Belly says, let me pull it up here. These are the three games he felt like the game plan was insufficient: Marshall, Ohio State, and USC.
Ohio State, we didn't try hard. I mean, we played very reserved and conservative, and we played like a team that was trying to steal a win instead of a team that was going in there to be a good team versus a good team. We went in there trying to like play that Philly boxing style, just super super defense, and then try to score points. But instead of coming out trying to be on the offensive, I think that was our issue as from an identity standpoint. The last 5 6 years, in the biggest games of the season, we would never play like the bigger team. We're always playing like the Toledo coming into Notre Dame. It's like we're pretty damn good too. We shouldn't be playing so reserved and hoping that the other team messes up and then we capitalize. It should be we're firing on offense and y'all better keep up or we're gonna blow you out. That needs to be the mentality going into these Ohio State, Clemson, USC games instead of it's a top 5 matchup. Let's see what they got and then try to counter. And no, we got to be on the aggressive in games like that because I think it bodes well for a great finish for us, especially going into playoffs where you got to be aggressive.
Allow me to take a short detour right quick, and then we'll come back. I was listening to Coach Joe Mazzulla post game last night. They got outscored. They gave up, 45, 47 points in the third quarter to the Miami Heat. Got outscored by like over 20 points after being up 9 points at halftime. And he was asked by the media, what could you have done to stop the run? He said, hit shots, take better shots, not give up, get offensive rebounds. He named all of these offensive things. And not one time did he say get a stop. Not one time did he
Is
say
that
get a
because I
stop.
think that's because the NBA is so offensively skilled.
But it's like,
Guys are
yo,
gonna get these shots.
not one time did he say get a stop. And I was just boggled. It boggled my mind. Like,
Really?
that's media 101 as a coach. Like, just run the script. Like, just run the script as a coach that you're supposed to say to that question. And it's rebound, get stops, take good shots. That's it. That's the script.
That's the
For that
script.
type, that's the script for that type of question. Just keep moving. But it shocked me. It brings me to this, right? Here I come back on to where we were talking about the road we were going down. In these big matchups, you talked about what Notre Dame traditionally has done. Will these games be more about Notre Dame getting the big stops or Notre Dame making the big plays offensively? In these three big games, will it be more about Notre Dame getting the big stops or Notre Dame getting the big plays offensively?
I think if Sam Hartman is doing his job offensively, it'll be about getting big stops against USC. I believe is if Sam Hartman is doing what he's supposed to, it'll be about making big plays to get Ohio State out of there early. And if it's about Sam Hartman doing what he's supposed to, making big plays in the Clemson game and getting them out early at home is what's going to be key. I think the only time it needs to be about making stops is when the other team has a better offense, quote unquote, better quarterback. And I think that's for SC. The other two games, we need to establish dominance in the fact that we need to be able to say, hey, Ohio State and Clemson, we're going to score at least 40. So if you can't keep up with that, it's going to be a long day for you.
It's interesting you say that. And I can see that game by game in these three big matchups. But for me, fourth quarter in college football against good teams, it's always the teams that get the big stops to me. Right? Because good teams are going to score in today's game. If you're a good team, you're going to put up points. I think the difference maker is the ability to get the big stop. At some point in that fourth quarter, you have to be able to get that big stop. Look, even without the weapons that were missing because of injury, if Notre Dame had gotten 1 or 2 stops against USC in the second half, that's a different game. That's a different game. Even with the lack of talent, the quarterback, everything, the injuries and everything, if they had gotten 1 to 2 big stops in the second half to give the offense an opportunity to score because they were scoring points, they just couldn't keep up with Caleb. So it's going to be very interesting, Left. When we talk about these big games and we talk about the roster and how it plays out, where does the bulk of the responsibility lie in 2023? Preparation is one thing. Let me give you the example. Every game is different. Of course, as a coaching staff, it's your job to make in-game adjustments on the fly. Great teams are prepared for big games,
Yes.
right? Now we know the number of 5 stars, high 4 stars that end up at Georgia, end up at Alabama. We don't question that. But it just seems to me at some point, Nick Saban and Kirby Smart get their guys prepared, and then on the day of the game, go play. Go play. If there's a key timeout that needs to be made or called, I'll call it. If there's an adjustment we need to make at halftime, we'll do that. But we prepared. Now it's time to go play.
Mm.
Notre Dame needs to be at that point.
Yeah, Notre Dame definitely needs to be at that point.
Notre Dame, because I got the feeling in big games with Brian Kelly that there was always something that needed to be done, or we need to find a way to trick this team, or find a way to get an extra possession. It was
Yeah,
always about
we never
coaching.
winning the games being like they have to worry about us.
Right.
Never. It was always going to be like, how we going to be smarter, out scheme them. Florida State is a perfect example.
Mm.
They're coming off a championship year. We're going down to their place.
Now this is
The
14, right?
yeah,
2014.
the essence and the whole makeup of that game was we're trying to steal a win.
Mm.
Like we're not supposed to be on the same level as them, so we trying to go down there and shock them.
Mm.
We trying to pull it off. Like we weren't very talented and could have just beat them, being who we are. I thought we had a really good team that year from a matchup standpoint. The only difference between our two teams was, they came off a championship last year and we were coming into, we might have something. We got Will on one side, Ev doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
The defense coming together. We was like, okay, we might be better than what teams are giving us credit for. And we was 5-0 going into that game. So but even with that, they were 5-0, we were 5-0, but we were coming into it like we were 0-5. Like we were the Syracuse chip on the shoulder, underdog. They disrespected us. But if you take a step back, we're Notre Dame. Everybody here was a high recruit, top pick. Had 30, 40 schools to pick from. And we walking in there like we Marshall. So I think that is what I didn't like about that period of time, because we never walked in there like we were going to beat them and they was going to have a problem on their hands. But that even went to when we were winning games. If we up 2 touchdowns by the third quarter, we're taking the foot off the gas. So there's no extra gear we had unless it came from a close game to pull it off. But if you up 10, we playing keep away. So that relaxed mindset is why in bigger games where you may be up 10, but shoot, you got to play the rest of the game or you're going to lose. We were so accustomed to getting up by a comfortable lead or a 2-score lead and then just holding that lead. Not necessarily trying to score, more so trying to kill the clock and put the onus on the other team to make some miraculous comeback. That's why we have those crazy disappointing losses to like Michigan State with the fake field goal and
oh my God,
all that time, because we were trying to play to escape with a win. It's the crazy.
literally just watched that game on Big Ten Network 2 days ago. That was the game Dane Chris was quarterbacking, right? Michael Floyd was beasting Michigan State. They went up 7 in the fourth quarter, had the ball at midfield. Michael Floyd has the DB beat by like 5 yards. Dane Chris underthrows the ball. Floyd goes up, tries to catch it. DB knocks it away, and Floyd is like, "Yo, throw the ball out in front of me."
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the whole mindset of shit. We're up, and I don't want to be the reason why we lost the lead.
Oh.
No,
There
We
was
need a
so
guy.
many opportunities to blow Michigan State out in that game.
So many.
Kirk Cousins was so trash, dude.
So
So
trash.
trash. So trash.
But we're the team that lets you hang around. Get you in striking distance long enough. Northwestern, great opportunity to blow Northwestern out. And Trevor Siemian just letting them hang on. Letting
Yeah.
them hang on.
Yeah.
Letting them hang on. We miss an extra point. Then Trevor said, come down, big play, big play. It was like, dang, this is Northwestern.
Northwestern.
And Northwestern is giving us one of Northwestern's best classic games of all time.
Oh my God.
Northwestern is still probably talking about that game.
Yes.
With Trevor Siemian.
Yes, still to this day.
And the fact that we let them, it goes back to us being in control of our own destiny of winning the championship where we choose not to win one. It's the same thing. We choose not to step on people's necks when we're beating them. We got this good stewardship, fake sportsmanship thing where
So the stewardship has extended to the football
it's
team.
extended to the football. When's the last time we're trying to embarrass a team 56-7? When the last time Notre Dame did that in the last 10 years? Maybe an academy school in there, maybe. But we haven't taken a Purdue and just say, you know what, Purdue, we're just going to show you this year. Y'all ain't in no competition. We beating y'all 40-0, 40-7, and it is what it is. Every Big Ten game we have with teams that we're way better than is always like a 6-point game or a 10-point victory or 14-point. We ain't never had no 28-point victory against no relevant team. When the last time we beat Stanford by 28? And we had a run of whooping Stanford for like 5 or 6 years straight. And all those wins, we ain't put no 28 plus on them. Hell, USC beat us 40 plus points one year when they were decent. So that's the difference that I want to see from Marcus Freeman, which we were so excited about what Marcus Freeman brought to the team when he was going into the Fiesta Bowl was we're not going to start slow. That was our claim to fame with Brian Kelly. We're going to start slow second half, get it closer by the middle of the third, and then finish in the fourth. Marcus Freeman come out Fiesta Bowl, it changed the whole perspective of the team. Like, damn, we scored fast. I don't have to wait till the third quarter to start watching Notre Dame football. Because for the last 10, 11 years, you can honestly click to the game at halftime and not miss a thing. You may miss one or two highlight throws, one or two runs, maybe.
Mm.
But Notre Dame games don't get started till halftime. And that's it's every big game. It's like even last year, we didn't start whooping up on Clemson till the second half. That first half is like, okay, we real. Okay, let's see what you got. Oh, they coming out strong. They giving us their best shot. Every time. It's not until we say, you know what? We not gonna waste no time with them. We need to go home and get out early, get this running clock going, whatever we need to do. Because it's disrespectful they stepping on the same field as us. That's how we need to be taken. It's like y'all can't Notre Dame do what? Oh, no. You would have thought psychologically it helped when they moved the tunnel. You know, we gave y'all a little sliver of the stadium to come through as opposed to coming through ours. You know, that's supposed to psychologically help.
I hated that. The tunnel was all, dude. The tunnel historically has been about trash talking.
Yeah.
This is when we let you know in this tunnel before we run out what's about to happen. It's going down. You hear me? Yes. What's up? We dare y'all to say something. Say something. We're going to whoop y'all to the tunnel, and then we're going to go out there and whoop you on the field.
That's right.
See, when they did that little interest to the left, I'm like, see, Notre Dame, they just hate confrontation. This is swag. They hate swag.
They definitely hate, yeah.
They just hate swag. That's all about swag, bro.
We too good stewards for that.
Dude, I don't care if it's back in the day with Colorado where they still do it. Used to run out with the Buffalo, the Orange Bowl, when Miami used to run out with the smoke. Like, dude, Michigan running out, same tunnel, hitting the little banner. Like, It's all swag. It's all swag. And Notre Dame, when it comes to games and big games,
It's too professional. They want to have the box seats all cleaned up. I mean, them seats on top of the stadium is like apartments. They ain't even like they not even suites. They're apartments, townhouses, condos, chandelier in the middle of for what? That's not swag.
I mean, we walk down the stairs from the locker room, right? I'm sure they show it on the big screen as the players file down out of the locker room. They bang play like a champion. They bang that. Yo, why can't we treat it like? Let me tell you something, man. I've never been there, but on TV, because I'll tell you now, I've said this on record. Clemson, that stuff y'all do is trash. That little bus ride around, that's trash. Y'all need to
That's
read. Y'all need,
the thing isn't built next to the it's some weird thing how
it's,
that thing is set up where their whole facility is a walking distance from the stadium or something crazy.
that's trash. The
It's
whole
trash.
squad
Virginia
being
is
on
the
a
same
bus,
way. Virginia's the same way. They take
coach
this
being on a
luxury
bus.
bus across the street. It's like
That's trash, my G. I'm telling, hey, that's trash.
that's
Trash.
trash. Trash.
Now, Virginia Tech walking through, coming down that little tunnel with the joint playing in the background, building up. That's hype.
Yeah.
Look, here come the Irish. That's cool. But what's the build up to it? The build up used to be both teams in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Now that's gone. What's the build up now? Man, we need an intro. We need something. We need music playing while they're banging on the play like a champion. Something.
Something.
Something. Get a Chicago Bulls video interest or something. Ah, something. Can we get some? Can we get some swag, man?
Some swag, please.
But ultimately, these games will come down more to the coaching staff or the players. That's where we sit. Is this more about Marcus Freeman having these? See, I think Marcus Freeman has shown, in my opinion, that his teams will be ready to play good teams. They were ready to play Ohio State. Then you
Yeah,
talk
we
about
was
game
ready.
plan.
Yeah,
They
we
were
was
ready.
ready. We was ready.
They walked into the horseshoe, especially defensively. They walked into the horseshoe and set the tone defensively. They were ready to play. Clemson, they were ready to play. USC. So for me, I think Marcus Freeman has answered the question of against big teams and big games, will Notre Dame be ready to play?
Yeah.
I think he's
Yeah.
answered that.
I think he's answered that.
If he's answered that, these games are about the players. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Because we got the piece that we were missing for the players to get inspiration from. It's like, okay, we got the guy that you want to play for. Now we got to rely, put the energy and effort on being at that level of where our coach is, match that energy, and then change that perception of how we go into bigger games. Before we were looking for that piece
Uh-huh.
to give us the confidence going into that game. We didn't have it for Brian Kelly. You go to a Brian Kelly pregame speech, you're not hype. You're not ready. You're not more ready to play. It's just like, damn, this pregame is
Left. Wait a minute, man. Can you impersonate his speeches, Doug?
it's just like,
What was the Brian Kelly speech like, bro?
it just wasn't getting the crowd going.
Wait a minute. Here's Brian Kelly
It was like, okay, I give you a perfect
2016
example.
prior to Texas.
I give you a perfect example.
Okay.
It's like you're trying to go out, hang out with your friends at the mall, right? But you know you got to ask your mom first before you go.
Right.
And she's tripping on you all the time about being with your friends. Always got these comments about your friends and being in trouble, this and that.
Okay.
So you ask, hey, mom, can I go to the mall with my friends? And she's like, yeah, but don't go by yourself nowhere. Make sure they taking care of you. Make sure you don't go nowhere by yourself. Make sure you answer the phone. You only be there for an hour. It's just like, dang, now I don't even want to go no more.
Uh-huh.
That's a Brian Kelly speech. He goes in there and says, hey, we got to do this. If we do this, we're going to come out with a victory, and we're better than this team. And you're like, man, I don't even want to play no more, man. You should just let me just go. You should have just kept it short. You should have just said, this is our chance to go do it, whatever. You done took it to making it not corny, but just unmotivated. And I think that instantly changed when Marcus Freeman came into the picture, because now you leaning on the words Marcus Freeman is saying because you can believe it. Nobody's gonna believe Coach Kelly's rah-rah speeches going into the game, because it's like, come on, going to battle, really? You don't even look like the person you going to battle with. Marcus Freeman looked like a character that he'll go to battle with you. If you had to jump in that foxhole with Marcus Freeman, I'll jump in there with him. So some of that is just perspective. Coach Kelly, you're not jumping in no hole for Coach Kelly. He's sending you to the hole to jump in, but he ain't gonna jump in with you. He's gonna be like, hey, that's where you gotta go. I'm gonna be back here though.
Yo.
You go.
So Coach Kelly will send you over the hill like you can win.
You can win, but I will be back here directing. Marcus Freeman is like, I will lead us over the hill and we will come back victorious. So you're like, okay, we can do that. Brian Kelly's like the king in the castle is sending the army off. It's like, oh, he fighting for this buster head dude. He don't know nothing about no sword, no axe, no combat.
Oh,
man.
Jay Carr said, did he ever use his southern accent during his pregame speech?
No, man. This man, Coach Kelly, man. But the thing is, what Coach Kelly does do good is, because, some people, it's like little league coaches, little league football coaches. Some little league football coaches be wanting to go out there just so they have an audience for them kids to listen to these dudes rant about the past stuff that they've been through. Those parents that just want to drop all the time these life lessons to these kids that ain't trying to. It's like, man, coach basketball, bro. You out here giving these long diatribes to these kids about working hard and going to the next level because you didn't make it. It's like, they not the same. These kids are good kids. You in the streets and you didn't make it. That's sort of how you in with Coach Kelly. It's like, man, what he does do well is give you the assistant coaches that you can lean on. He'll give you an offer, great to talk to before games. He'll give you a he stand, great to talk to before games. He gives you guys that you're like, okay, I may not listen to his rallying cry, but, I got some pretty good coaches that help me get ready. I can stay focused, whatever. So it's one of those things that you kind of laugh at, because you start to see the difference in, yeah, he's a good coach, but he's a good coach in certain areas. Not every head coach you play for is going to be the one you want to go out there and run through walls for. Not that you necessarily need it. I'm sure there's teams that's won where the coach wasn't the rallying cry, but they were good in other aspects. And I think we're an example of that. We weren't diehard Brian Kelly, like they are Dabo, but we can still win games too because of what we had as a structure.
That's interesting. Lucky Lefty podcast. So, interesting in what you guys think in the chat. LL question of the day. Let's get to it, Left. If you are home alone, and you have to use the restroom, do you close the door? Let's see what everybody's saying, Left. B Heart 1074 says, yeah, because you don't know if someone's going to come home. Notre Dame, yeah, because you don't want that to linger down the hall, etc.
Etc.
The original Clyde the Glide, yes, I close it out of habit. Josh Miller, I got news for you. When people are home, I don't close the door. It's my house. Brian Anthony, yes, absolutely close the door. Mike K, if I'm duking, always. Thank you, Mike K. Mike Sullivan, yeah, I feel uncomfortable for some reason with it open. Jay Carr, nah. Anthony O says he always does. Marcel said, by habit, I still do. And I got Jason Smith, sometimes out of habit, but sometimes no. So, the reason why I do this, right? Do you have a favorite restroom? Well, most people have a favorite restroom that they
So
like
when
to
I
use.
lived in the apartments, I really enjoyed.
Not really enjoy.
No, for real. I really enjoyed the lobby bathroom.
Okay, okay.
Just like fancy hotels. I enjoy the bathroom in the lobby more than the room bathroom, or a lot of it is because there's space.
Hmm.
A lot of it because they cleaning it every day.
Facts.
Is usually a good getaway. Little 5-10 minute break from you probably with a group or something. But also is because even if you are messy, it ain't your problem. It ain't your bathroom. You ain't using your toilet paper. You using the lobby toilet paper.
Hmm.
So you can keep your own bathroom clean and just use the lobby bathroom. It's like using those one time toothbrushes you use and you throw it away. You get another toothbrush instead of just dirtying up your own bathroom. You got those smells all in your own house, apartment, whatever. You just go to the lobby. Lobby got the nice privacy. They got the nice little stall. Nobody's trying to come after you and rush you. You know what I mean? You underrated. And they usually have the little candles and smell goods in the back. You like, man, they changed the air softener, the air freshener.
Right, right.
So it's much more commercial use. You like it more.
So we have multiple restrooms here, but my favorite restroom to use is the one on the main level. That's the closest to the front door.
Mm,
So
that's right.
it's a true story, bro. It's a true story. My daughter, she was home. She goes to a barbecue the other day. The game is on. So I leave the door open, and I never do this, Left. I always close the door.
Yeah, because you like, I can't miss this.
I leave the door open so I can hear the game, right? And so, only to realize that the supply closet is right outside the door, and I did not check the roll next to me. So by the time I figure out, yo, I have to go out and get supplies, some more tissue, I'm simultaneously getting up to do that, and the front door pops open.
The worst.
And I hear multiple voices, bro. So
Oh, multiple
it's
voices.
not
Oh,
just baby girl, it's her friends as well. So hey man, I look, people are laughing in the chat. Imagine your boy doing the
you
penguin.
start making noise. Hey, they start smacking stuff on the floor. Making commotion.
Laugh, laugh, because like I have to paint this picture, dude. Some people might just totally, you know, disrobe when they go to the
Yeah,
restroom.
yeah. Some
You
people,
know,
yeah. So me,
some people totally disrobe just to be comfortable. You know what I mean?
yeah, because
I
it's nothing worse than sweating while you're doing it. It's nothing
yes,
worse.
I just happen to have, you know, my joints around my ankle.
You're just totally vulnerable right now.
So I'm doing the fast penguin.
Because you can't walk all the way right. You just all the way like, this is the worst somebody can catch me in right now. If somebody caught me right now, it'd be TMZ words. I'd be embarrassed. Like I can't say nothing. It's like you got me, dog. You gotta start knocking stuff on the floor like a robber's in the house. Oh, get robbed! You know, something to slow them down.
Jason Smith, he says the poo poo shuffle. Dog.
Yes. And it's so funny because you like just take them off, but you like, no, I gotta keep them around my ankles for some reason.
It's the bro.
It's something to
man. I'm a person that does I think very well under pressure, left. But for some reason, when those keys hit that door,
you come against the floor. You like, whoa.
I was like, wait a minute.
That's where the saying comes from. You caught me with my pants around my ankles because it's
absolutely.
It's nothing.
They absolutely caught me with my pants around my ankles.
There's like so much shock involved. It's like, wait a minute, this is not how I planned it. Because you don't have an exit strategy. It's not a real exit strategy. It's like, oh my goodness, really.
Oh man.
Oh man, yeah.
Man, thank God I got back in just in time. You know, it was still, and I stayed in the restroom like an extra 10 minutes, bro.
Yeah, just to make sure clear. You gotta hear what they chatting about, like when the door closed again. Like, what was?
No, I was just waiting for them to go upstairs. Like, you know, they went to the kitchen.
You gotta clear the whole room.
They got some snacks. I'm like, man, y'all, these girls have to go upstairs, bro.
I gotta go to the attic before I get out this.
Like, please go upstairs to her room. Please go upstairs to her room. And finally, they retired upstairs to her room, and I was able to come out and watch the rest of the Lakers and the Nuggets, bro. I should have just done what I've always done. Check the roll before I sit down and close the door behind me. I would have been just fine. I'd have been just fine, bro. Lucky Lefty podcast. So, when we come back, there seems to be disrespect being thrown towards Notre Dame. And, oh, by the way, I talked to Justin Scott yesterday for about a couple of minutes via text. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different. We're back. Lucky Lefty podcast. The Onora boys are definitely in the building. Don't forget, exclusively on CFB Nation, starting this fall, you need to go follow us over there at CFB Nation. Go follow us right now. All of our great content shows will be releasing this fall outside of the Lucky Lefty podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFB Nation. You get your audio edible each and every day. Then go to YouTube. Subscribe. The thumbs up, smash that for us. It helps with the views. Leave your comments. We respond to all. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast. We are indeed the home of the misguided passion. And you better believe we spin it different. Notre Dame fans, I know how you might feel. Notre Dame is constantly under barrage in the college football landscape. By everyone. Recruiting, rankings, media, radio and TV, scouts, you name it. They hate Notre Dame. Hating Notre Dame, by the way, is great for business. I don't know if you guys know that, right? With Notre Dame, it only benefits you if you're hot or cold. It only benefits Anyone, if you're hot or cold. You can't be in the middle with Notre Dame and benefit from Notre Dame and the brand. It's either you hate them or you love them. And most people choose to love them and benefit in that way. So as we move forward and we think about the 2023 season, we've had things come out recently saying that Notre Dame is overrated as a team. I believe something's come out recently saying that Marcus Freeman might be overrated as a coach. We've seen North Carolina State ranked right there with Notre Dame as far as returning defenses and where they rank. Sam Hartman bears the brunt of a lot of this disrespect in this spring and going into the summer. We've had several articles coming out with returning quarterbacks where they rank. And honestly, myself, I've been on record saying Sam Hartman is 5 or 6 for me. 5 or 6. Have no problem with anyone that feels like he's 4, 3. I'm not about to sit here and debate. I'm not about to do that. He sits 5 or 6 for me. And that's debatable. I've seen him as low as 7. I've seen him as low as 8. But this recent ESPN article that had the tiers of quarterbacks returning, let me tell you something. I tell you guys all the time. The college department for college football of Notre Dame, being a former employee, is not supplied very well with people that really know the game, especially on the high school side. Heck, they had Jaden Greathouse as a tight end. That says enough. This kid has been one of the best wide receivers in the nation since a sophomore. They had him labeled as a tight end. What else do you need to know? Most of the ESPN college football consortium is based out of Charlotte, the Charlotte offices. They're not even in the Connecticut area. And so, with that being said, there is a bias definitely to the schools on the coast, ACC, like a Clemson, and schools in the Southeastern Conference due to proximity, due to business, other interests. So, anytime ESPN decides to, and I'm going to say this word strongly because I think it's needed, because this is exactly what they did to Notre Dame and Sam Hartman. Anytime ESPN decides to defecate on Notre Dame and Sam Hartman, it's not a shock to me because I understand the connections. I understand why it's more money and more valuable for them to be haters of Notre Dame rather than lovers of Notre Dame. Let me tell you this. The tiers of quarterbacks returning in 2023. Of course, tier 1A, Drake May and Caleb Williams. That goes without saying. Tier 1B, entitled the most prolific quarterbacks not named Williams or May.
Spencer Rattler's in there.
No, bro. Let me
What?
this is tier 1B. Okay. Malik, feel free to jump in and stop me at any point, bro. Because I'm about to give you the 4 quarterbacks that are in tier 1B.
So
Okay.
it's tier 1A is just Caleb and Drake.
Yes.
That's fair. Okay. I get
Tier,
that.
tier 1B. Are you ready?
Okay.
Jordan Travis,
already. I mean, what is he really? Okay,
Bo Nix,
okay.
Michael Penix Jr.,
That's getting better.
and Cam Rising.
From Utah? Oh my God. See, two of the four, no way. I would trade Knicks for Ewers, but Knicks is one of those quarterbacks that's gotten a great opportunity in the place he's been at, that's elevated his play,
Mm,
but it's also a misconception as well because of how volatile he plays. He reminds me so much of a Chad Kelly. Yeah, he makes some good plays around some good talent, but is he the guy that's gonna get you over the hump? I don't know. Cam Rising has the old veteran quarterback Brandon Whedon swag to him, where he just knows the game. As an individual, is he a superstar or a 1A, 1B? No, I don't think so. But I do believe because he's experienced and veteran and all that good stuff, he's going to be a really good piece for a Utah team that's mature and getting older.
uh-huh.
But Bo Nix is, and then Jordan Travis, he's the hype reason why Florida State is in the top five right now. I think he's
Let me
good,
give you something though.
but I don't
Jordan
know.
Travis is number 7 in the nation in yards per attempt. Number 4 in the nation, yards per completion. I think a lot of people have a misconception of Jordan Travis being a runner and really haven't given him credit for the way he's improved himself as a threat via the pass.
Well,
He's put in a lot of work.
they're never gonna give him the credit for that as long as he can run. That's the difference.
That's a
Until
good
he
point.
can't show he can run, they're
Yeah.
never gonna give him the credit for the pass. That's probably why Michael Penix went to Washington, because Michael Penix was good uh, as an overall quarterback.
He was great at Indiana, got
But
hurt.
Indiana wasn't gonna give him the what Washington is giving him from a development standpoint.
Gets to Washington and gets around great wide receivers, great offensive line, and then takes it to the next level
Can
as
only
a
imagine.
quarterback. So
But that's a difference from a guy that has a talent that's going to a better situation than a guy that has talent and you can't tell if he's really that great or not.
I have no problem with look, Bo Nix has not done anywhere near or has not accomplished anywhere near what Sam Hartman has accomplished.
That's all it is. It's just an accomplishment thing. Because he'll
Right?
have some game stats where you're like, damn, you threw 6 touchdowns, 500 yards. Oh, man.
Yeah.
But then you go into a big game the next week where you got to win and you get embarrassed.
Facts. Facts. He
You go
has
into
not.
a game, you play a game against Georgia and get totally destroyed. Like junior college versus NFL team type game. And then the next 3 weeks you put up 7,000 yards. It's like, are you good or not? Are you good or not?
I, I think, in my opinion, Cam Rising is in this group because of the team and the program. The consistency of Utah and the program has elevated Cam Rising because Cam Rising just happens to be the quarterback during this period where they've been extremely consistent and won
Yeah,
back-to-back Pac
he's the
12
quarterback
championships.
that can
He,
take advantage of the experience, the team growing at the right time.
yes, yes,
Everything is in your favor. You're a veteran. You coming off of a pretty decent, you got that Carson Wentz factor. Y'all go 11-5. You get hurt at the last,
yeah,
end of it. So everybody's like, man, what could have been, what should have been. So everything is coming into play for you. So I can see why he's in that position
yeah,
of
yeah.
1B, because now it's like, man, if you just do what you're supposed to do, you're gonna put your name in the ranks of the top quarterbacks next year, regardless.
So, are you ready for the next tier?
Okay, this is one B's.
This is 1B. Now we're going to tier 2. Tier 2. You ready? Arkansas's KJ Jefferson. Kansas's Jalen Daniels. Michigan's JJ McCarthy. And Texas San Antonio's Frank Harris. Tier 2 of the quarterbacks in 2023.
Texas quarterback who?
Texas San Antonio quarterback Frank Harris. He's a lefty.
Never heard of it.
He had the best QBR in the country last year.
Jalen Daniels definitely should be a tier 1 if Jordan Travis is a tier 1. And I think a lot of that is based on Jaden Daniels' route from where he was at comfortable at ASU to be able to go down to LSU.
No. Jalen Daniels at Kansas, not Jaden Daniels at LSU.
Dang, he still ain't make the 1B, 1A tiers yet?
No.
Golly,
Now,
that's crazy.
Jalen Daniels at Kansas, once he got hurt, their season was
Yeah, okay, so I know
done.
Jalen Daniels from Kansas, I think, is a great prospect. It's weird how he's as good as he is, and they're running a 2-quarterback system. Or did some 2-quarterback type of things in that game against who's that bowl game against? It was a good team, and they did that double quarterback play. It's like, why would you take the ball out of your, whatever? But Jalen Daniels fits a lot of the same situation as our guy Michael Penix Jr. in my opinion. I think they're both very talented individually, but team situation fitting them better would only highlight them as an individual greater, which gives them that both of those guys, in my opinion, are the guys that have the most to prove going in the next season to show why they're, in the company of a right below that 1A group with Caleb and Drake May. I think Caleb and Drake May are not only accomplished, but talented wise, the better 2 options over the rest of the guys in the country. But when you talk about a accomplishment plus talent plus a good situation, I think you got a Michael Penix Jr., you get yourself a Jalen Daniels, where their team is the perfect fit and the perfect collaboration of what they need to show why they're the top quarterbacks in the country. And I think Jalen Daniels and Jaden Daniels from LSU, they should both be in the conversation because Jordan Travis is getting a lot of love, but I don't think that he should get more love than what Jalen was able to do last year and even Jaden Daniels was due last year.
You ready for tier 3? This is A. Look, we try to be, I know a little left is around you. We try to be family friendly. I understand that expletives might be forthcoming. So, just be yourself. Just be mindful.
Be yourself.
Be yourself, but be mindful that little left is around you. Tier 3. Alabama's Tyler Buckner and Jalen Milroe.
Both of them?
Yes. Clemson's Cade Klubnik. Georgia's Carson Beck. Ohio State's Cal McCord. Penn State's Drew Aller. And Tennessee's Joe Milton II.
Damn, they just throwing names in there. It's a random group. I think JJ McCarthy belongs in that group because, if you look at JJ McCarthy right now, what is it that he can do to prove himself as a top quarterback in the country right now? It's not much.
No, I disagree with that. I
He
think
went back to back.
I think JJ's shown you he's better than Tyler Buckner.
But that's because of team.
I don't
and
care what it is.
and him staying healthier because everybody should be considered better than Tyler Buckner right now because Tyler Buckner don't have enough to be able to stack up against a JJ McCarthy who's been to 2 college playoffs back-to-back years. But what is JJ McCarthy doing that's a tier 1 ability or even a
But
tier 2?
he wasn't tier 1, he was tier 2.
I'm saying even tier 2 either.
He's better than the quarterbacks. He's probably the top dude in tier 2. He's better than KJ Jefferson, dude. Come
What
on,
is
man.
what is JJ McCarthy doing that's special? Or that you would say is even better than KJ Jefferson? 'Cause I can name a couple things KJ Jefferson's doing that has a lot of potential. But JJ McCarthy's in the most protected system in college football. He's not asked to make great plays consistently or play hero ball ever. They're running the football. He's throwing play action against great matchups, and they're not putting the ball in his hand to win the game. The way they win games is running the football, and by the fourth quarter, they doing anything they want because they done beat you down up front.
But that doesn't mean that he's not a good quarterback.
It's not making him a great quarterback either. I think he's a middle of the road guy, but what can he do in that offense they got that's going to put him in that conversation of a tier 1 or a quarterback that's a top 5 going in next year?
Bro,
Other
you
than
got 1A, 1B, and tier 2. In my opinion, he's a tier 2 quarterback. You can't dismiss the fact, wait, hold on. You can't dismiss the fact that he wins. That's
no,
why
I
I
think
think
that's a huge factor.
that's why Cam Rising
Is up
somehow
there.
ended up in tier 1
Yeah, because he's
because
an
he's
old
won.
guy that's
But
going to win.
absolutely. But
But what
JJ,
is
I
JJ
would take
McCarthy?
JJ McCarthy over Tyler Buckner. I would.
Yes, at this point, yeah. But Tyler Buckner, I mean, you should take everybody over Tyler Buckner right now. If you're going into, I need to know where I'm at going into the season. If Tyler Buckner had the same amount of games played as JJ McCarthy, I would take Tyler Buckner.
And if we'll be honest, let's be honest. He made mistakes, but when he had to pass the ball to get Michigan back in the semifinal game against TCU, he did it. When he was forced to throw the ball to get them back in that game, he did it. So
I'm not looking at one game and giving him the opportunity to
no,
think
you asked the question, what has he shown? I just gave you evidence
that's not
that
elite.
when I didn't say he was elite. When you keep
That's
saying
what
he's
I'm asking.
elite,
I'm saying,
he's tier 2.
I don't think he's tier 2. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. I think he's a pretty decently good quarterback, but if the team success wasn't what the team success was, he would be a middle of the road guy. I think he'll be better than Graham Mertz, but right under, like him and Kyle McCord be the same to me. I just think because JJ McCarthy, like Cam
Come
Rising,
on, he has more physical talent than Calvin Coolidge.
what is
Come on.
okay? Just to go okay. What is a tier 2 or tier 1 thing that JJ McCarthy has except the winning factor? I don't think he has a super strong arm. I don't think he's deadly accurate like Drake May is. I think he's just a good quarterback that is benefiting off
Bro,
of a team
bro,
that's really
bro.
good. Like, I
Wait,
don't know
wait,
what
wait, wait. This kid is
he's not like a
crazy.
Lamar Fast or a Trevor Lawrence big.
This kid
Is
is crazy athletic, bro. You can't
crazy
you
athletic.
you can't tell me that a kid goes out there against Ohio State and just makes plays with his legs and then say, "Oh, what does he do? Does he doesn't do anything?" What are you talking about?
What
He's
is
in the
Ohio?
horseshoe. He's
The
in the
Michigan
horseshoe making plays with his legs and making big plays with his arm, but you trying to make him seem like he's just
Let's
a
talk about the
he,
okay. We can talk about the Ohio
he's
State.
wait a minute. Is he better than Cade McNamara?
Yes, but Cade McNamara is
Oh, so Cade McNamara beat Ohio State.
Cade McNamara is at Iowa right now. Cade
Exactly.
McNamara, Cade McNamara is a like I said, a solid good quarterback too. I think JJ McCarthy's a better athlete, obviously, but JJ McCarthy
That's what I
isn't
just
better
said.
than he isn't better than Joe Milton or have elite traits in or better than any other tier
He
one guy.
doesn't have he
Even
doesn't
tier
have
two guy.
He doesn't have Joe Milton's arm.
There's nothing that JJ McCarthy has elite to put him in a tier 2 category. That's all I'm saying. I think he's good for where he's
Okay.
at.
He just happened to be a 5-star quarterback. That's all. That's
What is he?
all.
Okay, then name
That's
the elite
all.
traits of J.J. McCarthy.
That's all. Name the elite traits that Cam Rising has.
He doesn't. I don't agree with the Cam Rising thing.
So
To me,
you don't
there's
have to have
nothing
elite
elite about
traits to
J.J.
be a
McCarthy.
big time quarterback.
What you said? What?
You don't have to have elite traits to be a great quarterback
Yes, you
in
do.
college
100%.
football.
Yes, you. Oh, you said college
No,
football?
I said in
Okay,
college football.
okay. I was saying in the ranks of
You're
getting
talking
drafted
like
for
you're an
next year.
NFL scout.
We're getting drafted for next year. Yeah, that's why we say tier
No,
1, tier 2.
we're talking about college football.
College football, J.J. McCarthy can win 10 games with the team he has
Easy.
right now. Easy.
I'll say another. I'll go. It's not just Michigan. If J.J. McCarthy went to Illinois, he would win 10 games.
With the team Illinois has right now?
With the team Illinois had last year, he would have won 10
Yeah.
games.
Okay, yes. Illinois has a good team last year. They have a top 5 pick. They have a running back that was up for the Walter.
They got 2 more guys that are like top first round picks on the defense coming.
They got some receivers that's decent. They got some. Illinois going to be all right because they got a good head coach.
Facts.
Like, that's just what it is. Like, and J.J. McCarthy over there would be pretty successful because Illinois going to be a top 3 Big Ten team next year.
Right.
Unless Nebraska and Wisconsin get on fast, but that's going to take some time because Wisconsin's offense is going to look totally different. Right. Nebraska's offense is going to look totally different. So, I just think that there's nothing elite about JJ that makes me. If we played Michigan this year, I got Sam Hartman all day. Sam Hartman all day. I want him in the clutch. I want him in the crunch. The 2-minute, the opening play. Sam Hartman is a better quarterback than J.J. McCarthy.
Which is funny because, like Michael Park said, I see why Tommy Rees took Tyler Buckner over J.J. McCarthy. I don't. Because I know the competition. I know who J.J. McCarthy played against at IMG. I know the competition he came from.
See? He was at IMG. IMG had, man.
I mean, look, they bang on everybody, but at least that schedule. At least that schedule.
That's why I'm like, see, J.J. McCarthy is getting in great situations, which you can't be mad at.
You said it's all about fit, right? That's for quarterbacking,
okay.
right?
Is IMG a fit plays or is IMG like IMG ain't no fit, bro? IMG is not a fit place. That's like, look.
IMG is a fit for every position on the field, bro.
Hey, if you are just looking to be unfair, yeah, you go to
Hey,
IMG.
wait a minute. So if IMG came knocking for Lil Left,
I would want Lil Left to be good first. You can't tell how good you are at IMG. You can't tell. I think you get the most realistic picture of yourself like Michael Jordan and Jimmy Butler does. They don't play with the starting 5. They play with the backups when they go practice. And then Jimmy Butler with the backups beat the starting 5 like he did in Minnesota. But Jimmy's that guy.
Yeah.
Cat's not that dude. And that's why
you need to tell Cat that he's not that dude. Because his point of view of that same incident is totally different.
It's totally different.
And this dude was like, I got mine. I don't know what nobody was talking about. I was getting buckets. Like, dude, shut up. Get your cornball self out of here.
Straight up. He's changing his voice deeper.
I don't know what nobody else saw, but I was getting buckets. Like, clown. Go sit down, man. What are you talking about right now?
Exactly.
You lost to the third string.
You lost, bro. Against a team you shouldn't have lost to as an NBA player. But that goes back to where that's a situation where you can tell if you really like that or not.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think I want that experience for my kids to have that because you learn leadership too. When you got to play good and play well with other guys who aren't that good over a team that's better than you, I think that teaches you more than to being semi-decently good, but you around so many other great players that you get washed in that factor of being real with yourself. And then you go to college and you be like, damn, I'm missing those elite traits because I was around this all the time. I'm kind of used to, being in it. It's kind of like those guys that go to those top basketball schools, and then they get there and they just become an average player. But they were top in high school, but they played around all other top guys, so it kind of like evens each other out. There's no the lead horse. I think any team you need a lead horse or like those two or three guys that are just better than everybody.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a range of talent on teams. I think when you have a team that's all talented, it doesn't. I just don't think it's cohesive enough for individuals to be better outside of the team. If that makes
Oh,
sense.
so we finally get to tier 4A. And this tier is entitled
Damn,
consistently.
we haven't even said Sam Hartman yet.
No, we have not.
We done went through so many tiers. We ain't got to Sam Hartman. Isn't Sam Hartman the top 10 QB this year? Golly, we in tier 4?
Tier 4A, consistently very good. Coastal Carolina's Grayson McCall.
We went to
Duke's,
that.
Duke's Riley Leonard. Kansas State's Will Howard.
That's the
L-
big sucker, right? 14, he's huge.
LSU's Jaden Daniels.
That's disrespectful.
Notre Dame's Sam Hartman.
That's disrespectful.
Oklahoma's Dylan Gabriel.
That's way too high.
And Tulane's Michael Pratt.
Okay, he should be a little higher, though. He done brought Tulane to be a top 10 team by the end of the year with our dog, Lawrence Keys. Shout out Lawrence Keys. You know, making it happen. Former Notre Dame receiver. Should have kept him. But Sam being disrespected at tier 4, come on, you think Cam Rising's better than – I mean, the gap between Cam Rising and Sam Hartman's crazy. I think Sam Hartman is better than J.J. McCarthy. I don't understand these rankings, but the guys you also mentioned in tier 4 are guys that were in the running of being our guys too, like Grace McCall. I'm sure we're looking at the Tulane guy for a little bit, but being that far down for Sam Hartman and Jaden Daniels, I think is disrespectful.
So I got B. Driss wrote an article about this particular ESPN load of crap. And did you realize over the last 2 seasons that Sam Hartman threw 77 touchdowns and accounted for 89 total touchdowns? Guess the only 2 quarterbacks that accounted for more touchdowns in that same time frame.
Who?
The number 1 and number 2 picks of the NFL draft this year. ESPN, what are we talking about right now, man? And I'm someone that said, look, I'm cool with having him ranked 5th or 6th.
Yeah, he needs to be in the top 10.
Like, okay, you have a 5th or 6th. That's debatable because it's all it's preferential.
Yeah, once you get 5, 4, 6, it's like, it's what you trying to do with the team.
I'm
you're
cool with
it. Right.
Right? If you want to award Cam Rising for being a winner,
We say being a marathon man, what they call those guys? Through attrition, you just been there so long, you got tenure.
Absolutely.
It's a respect thing.
It's a respect thing. We get that, right? Bo Nix really
has a lot of height value with the numbers.
And he's improved. He improved himself in the pocket from his time at Auburn to what we saw at Oregon last year.
Did he improve his time in the pocket, or did that D-line get different?
Are you talking about from conference to conference?
Yes.
Well, look, you can't. I mean, then you would have to say
Alabama
that about
chasing this man, or Colorado D-line chasing this man.
I'm just saying, you would have to say the same thing about Michael Penix. It's the same conference.
Michael Penix has elite talents where he wasn't a turnover machine in Indiana like Bo Nix was in Auburn.
That's fair.
So, yeah, your turnover is lessened when you go to a conference where you get more time to, do your thing. But also Oregon has the skill position for days. They got the receivers and all that stuff, I think Bo Nix got better when he left from a tougher front seven. Michael Penix is good anywhere he go, especially if you throw 2 first-round receivers at him. I mean, come on. 2 first-round receivers?
Hey, look, like I said, Brian Driscoll, he wrote a response article. Very good analysis, good numbers. I think they disrespected Riley Leonard. I think they disrespected Jake Daniels. That entire 4A
It's trash.
list should be 2A
Yeah,
at their lowest.
at the lowest.
At their lowest. If you don't look, no, he shouldn't be 1A. I would venture to say Sam Hartman. Let's be real. I, if you told me that Sam Hartman didn't make the list of 1B, I wouldn't argue with you. Because that would mean you have him ranked 7th in the nation.
Okay.
And like I said, if you have him 5 and 7, I'm not about to argue with that.
Right.
I'm not. But once you get past tier 2,
And Spencer Rattler didn't make none of these either, by the way.
boy, you need to become Spencer Rattler's agent.
Man, listen, Spencer Rattler throw better than Cam Rising. I know that.
Dude. Come on, man.
If it's a respect thing, like you giving Spencer was a top 5 pick, you don't go from a top 5 pick last year, preseason, to being in tier what, 6, 7? What tier is he in now? That's like he didn't get that bad over a year. Like, come on, dog. Like, that's disrespectful.
He said, "Oh, Spencer Rattler is in tier 4B, bro."
Okay, but still, you don't have a top 5 pick evaluation and then go to 3 or 4 tiers down. That's just what? Unless he lost his arm, unless they chopped his right arm off, he became a left-hand quarterback. I don't know how you go from. That's like saying Imani Bates is like a 2nd-round pick.
Now,
How?
look,
How?
watch
This is still a first-round talent. Like,
now watch the little dig. Watch this little dig. Watch this little extra dig at Notre Dame. It's an excerpt from the article. Much has been made of Hartman's adjustment to a new offensive system after so much success in Wake Forest's slow mesh option. But that may overlook the bigger change facing him due to his offensive surroundings. In 5 seasons at Wake Forest, Hartman played with 5 different receivers who finished with at least 1,000 yards. Notre Dame has had just one 1,000 receiver since 2015.
yeah, since
They just had to. Now I can't even be mad at that.
No, that's a misconception.
No. That's not misconception. I can't be mad at that. Freaking Charlie Jones. Stop.
But that's not our offense, though. And Sam Hartman and the talent he has, he also made those Wake Forest receivers 1,000-yard receivers. Because before that, what was Wake Forest doing? Getting smoked every year? They were getting smoked. Sam Hartman is going to turn our receivers who are more talented that didn't get the chance to have that many targets. Think about targets. How many targets our receivers get to even get a chance to get 1,000 yards? Come on. Like, Tobias had 2 attempts, 2 targets of all last season. So, of course, but Tobias Merriweather is probably more talented than A.J. Perry, who went undrafted. Tobias Merriweather would probably start for Sam Hartman his freshman year down at Wake Forest. So if you give a kid that with all that talent 2 attempts in one season, of course it's going to look crazy. But when Sam Hartman comes in, he's going to have more targets.
So basically, you're trying to say Tobias is going to have 1,000 yards?
Tobias has a chance. He didn't have a chance last year.
I'll take that bet.
Oh.
I'll take that bet.
Listen. We both know.
I'll take that bet. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'll say. That's
As
why,
a
and that's
receiver,
why you hit pause. Because you know what? You
as a
know that's
receiver,
why you hit pause. I'll take that bet.
he has a chance
Okay.
because the quarterback's better. But the way the offense is running,
Oh, now it's the way the offense is running.
no, but think about it. Wake Forest didn't have no run game like we did ever. Never had an offensive line like we had ever. So by attrition, he's not gonna get as many pass attempts. He's gonna range around 25, but at Wake Forest, he's around 30. 30,
So that
40,
means
30,
that means
35, 40.
that means you're taking the bet, right?
No,
No,
because
no, 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 no,
we
no,
got
no,
too
no,
many
no,
receivers.
no.
We got too many receivers.
Now we got too many receivers.
If Tobias Merriweather was around when Michael Floyd was around, and we had the receiver group that Michael Floyd had when he was here, then yeah, Tobias can be 1,000-yard receiver at Notre Dame, 100%. But you got Drake, you got Rico Flores, who's gonna get some time this year.
A freshman.
He's gonna get some time. You got JT.
You're putting freshmen above him already.
Okay, yeah, not above him. He's gonna be in the game.
He's a starter.
He's going to be in the game.
Get 1,000 yards this year?
We're talking about guys that's going to be.
He's a starter with.
There's going to be at least 8 receivers in the game.
Here we go.
It's going to be at least 8 receivers.
Either the dude is going to be 1,000-yard receiver or he's not.
But it's not because of him individually.
Wait a minute. Who is it because of then?
It's because we have a bunch of guys. When you come to Notre Dame and you play offense, you're playing a role. You're playing a role.
You mean like Will Fuller played a role?
Hey, we don't have Will Fuller now.
Oh, wait. No.
It's yet to be seen.
No. Because everybody thinks Tobias is he's just this and that. Wait a minute. He's the next Will Fuller, right?
Will proved it in his first couple plays. So it's just the way it worked out. That's what I'm saying. Some guys have a perfect role. Will Fuller was one of those perfect role, 3 and out. You know, he has a lot of talent. In one game, we roll him out there. Tell him to run deep. He happened to run past Darquez Denard, who was a first-round corner, and it was his history was made. It was like, oh, that's Will Fuller. So they was like, you know what? We just keep throwing it his way, and then got in the pinstripe bowl, ran a little post route. It was like, whoa, wait a minute, we ain't see nobody like. But that's Will Fuller's story. Okay, that's different. They never talked about Will Fuller in these press conferences. Like, yeah, man, he's fast. He does everything we want. He gets off the ball. He listens. He works hard. He's always open. He always catches the ball. We just got to trust him more. We ain't never hit Will with one of them.
No, see, this is my point. And I see it in the chat. I don't want to hear that great chance. Don't give me that crap. He has a great chance. No. I don't want to hear that great chance. He has a great chance. No. Either he's a 1,000-yard receiver or he's not.
Wait a minute.
That's it.
We wasn't saying he had a great chance last year, though.
Take the bet.
Acknowledge that.
Take the bet.
Don't we have to acknowledge that?
Because there is no area. There is no area in this bet for great chance. No, there is no area for. Oh, I hit the great chance area.
It is.
No,
he can't throw it to himself.
This is dude.
He can't throw it to himself.
No, there is no push.
Even Charlie Jones, quarterback, got drafted.
No, I'm not giving away points. I'm not giving up points, and this is not going to end in a push. I'm sorry. This is not that type of bet. Either he's a 1,000-yard receiver or he's not. I know the reason you hit the pause button. You know the reason why I know you hit the pause button.
Because we got too many
guys. Go ahead. We got too many guys.
You think Chancey Stuckey gonna let Tobias rack up 1,000 without the other receivers?
He's a starting receiver. He's a starter.
Yes. But starters even rotate at Notre Dame.
Wow.
He's not an AJ Perry starter.
That's what we're doing now.
It's the truth.
If he's a great receiver, now he's gonna be in a rotation where he can't get 1,000.
As a great receiver at Notre Dame right now, we got too many guys for a guy to just be out there all game, unless he just becomes Calvin Johnson.
Boy, look at the hedging. He's a 1,000-yard talent. Boy, y'all hedging. Boy, it's a lot of hedging going on today.
Is he
Y'all
not
need
a
to-
thousand? Tobias Merriweather in a vacuum is 1,000-yard receiver. That's why we recruit.
Boy, you Notre Dame fans and left need to buy you a truck and some supplies and start doing lawns. Y'all hedging the heck out of this conversation today. What? Woo!
He is 1,000-yard talent, 100%. That's why we got him. But are we going to give him 50 targets this year? Are we? Like, come on, we got to be realistic. Are we going to give Tobias Merriweather 50 targets this year?
Is that what it takes to be a 1,000-yard receiver?
Man, what's the
Heck,
minimum?
wait. At 50 receptions, that's 20 yards of reception.
What's
So
the
that's
minimum amount of targets for what Jordan Addison? He was the Buckets winner. What's the minimum amount of targets? Because if we get a minimum number, then okay, we can talk about it. Because I think Tobias Merriweather has 1,000 yards in him. He has it in him. But how many targets are considered the minimum?
He has it in him.
How many?
Boy,
Okay, Braden Lindsey. Okay. Did Braden Lindsey have the ability for 1,000-yard season? No. He was a role player. And that's fine. But from a talent, we need a guy that can get us 1,000 yards. We got him in Tobias. Now, is he going to – what's the minimum? Is it 25 is the minimum? Is it 40? If he gets 40 targets –
look, bro, this is not a LeBron conversation. You don't have to keep moving the goalposts, bro. You don't have to. You don't have to. It was a simple question. Is he getting 1,000 yards this year? It was a very simple question.
I don't think that's a fair question. It's a trick question because it's a complex answer.
See, you know what? I can rock. Roger Dodger said if Hartman is a real top 10 quarterback, then at least one wide receiver will get 1,000.
At least one. Okay.
That's true.
But that one could be JT.
No. It's in Tobias.
It's in JT too. You don't think it's in JT?
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm trying to figure out which one you're taking. Because you were all team Merriweather.
I am. But
and then you hit the pause button. I know why you hit the pause button, but I'm going to leave it at that.
Look, we got Tobias, JT, Deion Cosley, Rico Flores, right? We got Jordan Greathouse or Jayden Greathouse. Guys that can be productive and are all equally talented. I think 3 out of the 5 can get us 1,000 with the complement of the other 2. But that means
wait. So now we use the 3 wide receivers to get 1,000 collectively? Is that what we're doing?
No. I think 3 of them individually can be 1,000-yard receivers.
Okay.
But then that's making us a team that's 70 pass, 30 run, and I don't think we'll be like that.
So for you, since we're talking about this quarterback list, we're talking about wins versus talent. Talk about Cam Rising being at 1B because of the games he's won.
Yeah,
back Pac-12 championships.
Right.
What's more important? Sam Hartman giving us 1,000-yard receiver, putting up 4,000 yards passing, 35 touchdowns, 35 plus touchdowns, or Sam Hartman going 3-0 in the big games?
You said Sam Hartman going 3-0 in the big games, or what's the other one?
Sam Hartman putting up crazy stats and having 1,000-yard receiver, or Sam Hartman going 3-0.
If Sam Hartman puts up crazy stats, that means we're winning games. But the crazy stats and the way Notre Dame always finds a way, like our guy David Solomon said, because we got guys like Salerno and got guys that we had come through that were great for us, like Chris Fink, and these one-off guys that become superstar walk-on scholarship players, and the way we just do things at a Notre Dame, it's hard to have another Michael Floyd. Because that means that the rest of the guys in the room got to take a back seat.
Wait a minute. This quarterback has had 6 different wide receivers get 1,000 yards.
They
Why?
offense
Why are we hedging this? Why are we
because
hedging this, bro?
Wake
What
Forest
are
has
we
never,
doing?
ever had a running back room like we do. And it would be irresponsible and wouldn't make sense for us to lessen what we're really good at, which is the run game. I just don't
But
think
wait a
we
minute.
I
You
don't think
have this weapon. You have this quarterback that has a history of creating 1,000-yard receivers. Out of less talented receivers, and you gonna sit back and run the ball 30, 40 times a game? That's what we
well, when
doing?
you got Aldrick, when you got Jadarian Price, Jabron Payne, when you got guys that consistently have shown over the years we can run the football with a great offensive line, it's negligent to put the onus on a quarterback that's talented to win you all these games when you can run the ball the way we can. Sam Hartman would probably love to run the ball more because it makes the game passing way easier. So because we're going to have that always accessible run game, it'll be hard for me to think that Sam is going to be turning all of our receivers into these 1,000-yard receivers because that means Sam going to have about 4,000 yards passing, and that's a lot of attempts to have, a lot of yards to accumulate, and the attempts to do that will lessen the attempts we have running the football. So you're going from a game where we're running the ball 50, 60% of the time. But that's what our foundation is to win games. That's how we got our identity as teams that in third down, they're going to load the box and play man. That's how we got like that because we are really good at running the football. We're still really good running the football. Now you're throwing in the dynamic of being able to pass. It would just be neglectful to say, okay, we're just going to bail out and put the game in Sam Hartman's hands to win all these games. Now, we are putting the ball in Sam Hartman's hands to win 3 games specifically.
Oh, I was about to say, wait a minute.
That's why he's here. But that's
Are
what
we hedging? Are we starting to hedge on the big games too? That's what we're doing.
We talk about season compared to White. Sam Hartman is here, in my opinion. Sam Hartman is here, in my opinion, to get us over the hump passing the football in those 3 games. So in those 3 games, I need to see a Tobias have 100+ yards. I need to see a receiver having 2 or 3 touchdowns in that game. In those 3 games specifically, absolutely. Absolutely. But I will be a fool in those same 3 games to say, hey, 70% of this game needs to be running the football. That'd be a fool. That's why we lose all those games anyway. For the season against the Dukes and the Pitts and the other, Virginias and all them teams we're going to be playing, don't neglect the run game because you're going to put us in danger of having Sam Hartman, who was a Wake Forest guy, be hero ball in games we should be blowing teams out with. No, I don't want that situation.
You know
Put
what?
Sam under pressure against these 3 games. That's what he's here for.
Okay. You want to hedge today.
I'm not hedging the bet.
I'm gonna help you out. Say get 1,000. Is he gonna get 750? I'll lower the bar to 750.
I'll take Tobias gets 750.
You gonna take the 750? You taking the 750? Can I write it? Can I? No.
This is
that should be automatic. That should be automatic. 750.
This is barring non-injury, right? Non-injury.
Oh, here we go.
If he get hurt week 3, what are we talking about?
Why would if he gets hurt? Of course. What are we talking about?
We have to. Okay, if he gets hurt in week 8, it doesn't count. Right? This is a full healthy season. If he stays healthy the whole 13 games we're gonna be playing, then absolutely he'll get 750.
Dude, look, man. So basically, you're trying to say that Sam Hartman won't be able to throw for 4,000 then.
He will be because a lot of guys.
Wait, whoa.
Let me
That's
add
what
it
he
up.
does.
I'll do the math.
That's what he does. He throws for 4,000.
When he was at Wake Forest with no running game.
Come on, Left.
He had no running game at Wake Forest.
Left.
You don't become the all-time greatest passer in your school history if you had a running game. It just doesn't work like that. You can
So we're
become the
about to
winningest
turn. We're
quarterback.
about to turn.
You become
We're
the
about to
winningest
turn
quarterback like Ian
the
Book.
third in the last 2 years, the third best quarterback at creating touchdowns in college football. We're about to turn him into a handoff machine. That's what you're
No,
telling me.
no, no,
That's
no,
what
no.
you're telling me. He's about to hand the ball off
No,
55%
he's
of
going to hand
the
it off
time.
more. Yeah, he's going to hand it off more than he did at Wait. Absolutely. But he didn't hand the ball off at Wait. So he's going to have a better balance at Notre Dame. But because of the better balance, I don't think he's going to have 5 million yards. Think about it. We won 11 games with a quarterback that threw less than 3,000.
So let me let me get these
So
way too early
we
predictions.
went to the playoffs with a
Don't
quarterback that
worry.
threw less than 3,000.
Don't worry.
Not only just a quarterback,
Don't
the
worry.
winningest quarterback of all
Let me
time
hold on.
threw less than 3,000 yards in a successful season.
Let me get these on paper.
So I would give Sam, he may not get 4,000, but he get 3,500.
Whoa, no. We're not hedging. There you go hedging.
I'm not
Because you
hedging on
just
that.
said you did say he was throwing for 4,000 just 2 minutes ago. That's what you said.
Okay. That's true. I got to add it up. That's why I said that, because I wanted to add it up.
You know what?
If we
I'm
got
gonna go ahead.
750 plus, let's say, if Tobias gets 750, JT got to get somewhere close to that. His top two receivers got to be over 500, right?
Hey, you do what you want to do. See, this is the type of stuff that we talked about this earlier. With our O-line and backs, we don't need Hartman to throw for 400.
See,
What?
that's what
What are you
I'm saying.
hold on, wait a minute. What are you talking about? You got a quarterback. Why do we have to sit up here and plod our way down the field like we've done for the past 30 years? Well, the thing was to get a quarterback that could create big plays. Now that we have a quarterback to create big plays, we're still trying to plod our way down the field?
Because plodding our way down the field gives us that at least 10-9 game victory. It gives us 10-9 games.
This is where I get into this is where I have a problem. What are we talking about? Why
being able to run the football gives us a security of at least 8 to 9 games we're winning, no doubt. No doubt. Sam Hartman is giving us the 3 games over the hump.
So wait a minute.
Get us to the playoffs to go win us the football games.
So wait a minute. Notre Dame could have won 8 to 9 games with Tyler Buckner. So I don't care nothing about that.
But guess why? Because we're running the football. Anything about that. If we still had Tyler Buckner, guess what we do in them 8-9 games? Running the damn football. And you know we coming out with a victory running the damn football. With Sam, them 3 extra games is where he comes in to get us over that hump on top of running the football. Because now the 3 games.
You say, but this is where you slip. You slip. You know you messed up, right?
No, you done messed up.
You know you done messed up. Because just earlier in the show, it was you that said you wanted Notre Dame to get back to smacking folks around.
Yes.
It was you. Hold on. It was you that said you wanted Notre Dame to get back to embarrassing cats.
Yeah.
Well, you don't embarrass cats by plodding down the field. You embarrass cats by putting points up through the air. That's how you embarrass cats in today's college football.
Clemson running the football last year. Up the middle.
Bro.
And scored 37-7.
Bro.
Up the middle.
Really? When you were talking about embarrassing people, that's the game you wanted to reference? That's the view you wanted to have with Sam Hartman? That's the view you wanted to have with Sam Hartman?
Okay. The Clemson game that we embarrassed them by running the football was my example of
when they beat Tennessee State by 40. Because anything less is uncivilized.
Yeah,
anything less than beat Tennessee State by 40 is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Yeah, unacceptable.
Now,
we should beat them by 500.
That might be a bad example because Sam Hartman probably won't even play.
Stay healthy.
More than 2.5 quarters. No. All right, I'll scratch them. But Central Michigan, is that the MAC game on the schedule?
Oh, yeah.
Central Michigan? Okay.
We should have at least 40 in that game. At least.
At least 40? At least 40 points?
At least.
Give me the minimum Sam Hartman can have.
From yards or what? What are you talking about?
Here we go. Come on. How you going to coach this game?
How am I coaching Central Michigan? Listen,
we got better. Wait. We have better quarterback, right?
These games are games
left,
not including the 3 games. So the Central Michigan game for Sam Hartman,
we have a better quarterback, right?
He can have 500 yards. It's like we can do whatever we want in those games. I just care about the 3 games we signed him for. The games like Central Michigan, it can be a toss up. Gerard Park could be like, you know what, or Jared Park could be like, you know what, we just want to show we can be balanced today. Or
people missing the point. People missing the point. Stop saying we don't need to pass for 4,000 yards. That's not the point. Is he going to pass for 4,000 yards? Stop telling me what he doesn't need to do.
No, he's not going to do it.
Because you're lying to yourself. Because he needs to pass for 300 plus in the big games.
Yeah, you think 3 games?
That's the problem. That's the problem. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. And that's the mistake, Left. Because see, Notre Dame fans think, oh, we're just going to run the ball for 9 games. And then whenever we want to throw for 300, we can just do it. That's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. Now, you know that's not the way it works.
We have to have some consistency throughout the season.
You're going to have to show, before you get to those games that you can do it.
Yes.
So let's stop. That's my point. Stop acting like Sam Hartman can just sit back, throw for 220 each and every week, and hand the ball off.
What's our expectation for Sam Hartman? 250 at least.
Yes, that was minimal.
2 touchdowns.
We said 250 was his minimum.
And 2 to 3 touchdowns. That's a good game. Yes. Yeah, that's a great game for him.
That's a good game. So basically, you're telling me that Sam Hartman's going to be touching barely 3,000 yards passing.
He's going to touch over 3,000. He's going to get right under 3,600, be around 35, 40.
That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted was a number.
He's not going to be a 4,000 yard passer, but he's not going to be a 100 yard passer either.
You do realize 3,600. You said over 3,600. That's near 300.
Under 37, between 35 and 37. He's going to be closer to about 35, 60, in my opinion, than he is at 37 being the highest, him winning the Heisman. If he's winning the Heisman, it's going to be 3,700 yards, about 50 touchdowns, something crazy.
Sam Hartman ain't winning the Heisman, though.
I know he's not.
So basically, but my point is,
him the hero ball to do it. Drake May and Caleb Williams have the ability to win the Heisman because they have the offense for it. They got to play hero ball, match with the talent, and match what they can do in the game. They're going to be in the light of winning the Heisman for sure. They're going to go to New York. Now, they may not be in no championship, but as an individual season, they're going to be great. Sam Hartman doesn't have the offense to put him in New York because we're not asking him to be the hero. We're not asking him to be the hero.
Wait a minute. He's not surrounded by talent.
Manage these games and come through in big moments, which he has the veteran experience to do so.
Isn't he surrounded by talent?
He's not going to have the numbers to compete with the guys winning the Heisman this year.
Why not?
Because we're going to be running the football.
You just said he's going to average 300 yards per week.
No. 250 is different than 300.
No. You said 12 games.
12 games. Let's do the math.
You said 3,600. That's 300, bro. My math is real good. As soon as you said it, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead and set yourself up.
So I said 35, 60 is in my opinion is where he's going to be closer to. 35, 60. Okay, now let's divide that by 12 games. That's about 296. Now in the 3 games I'm expecting him to win, he's got to have at least 300, 325 plus. USC, he's going to have to throw that football to keep up with points.
Fact.
So the average isn't going to be the same on that game. But I think for a game like a Pitt or a Duke, he'll have under 250 for that game, I'm sure, because we're going to run the football.
I would disagree in the Duke game, but the Pitt game, I can see that.
We will have games where Sam throws for under the expected amount per game because some of
the first three games of the season.
First 3 games of the season, he should have If we cared about making
setting the tone,
Sam should have 350 of those first 3 games. If Jared Parker was like, I'm going to make it a distinct difference between last year and this year, and we will come out throwing that rock, Sam Hartman should have over 300 some yards in those first 3 games.
So going into Ohio State, you're basically saying
I just don't think Jared Parker's just going to give up the run game. I just don't think so.
So out of the 3,560 yards, you gave an exact number. You funny, by the way. You're hilarious, by the way.
I had to be specific because I'm serious.
3,560 yards, Notre Dame fans, college football fans.
That's about 296 a game. About 296 a game. And I think some games he'll have less than 250, and hopefully in these 3 games he has more than 300.
Out of that 3,560, Sam Hartman can't get 1,000-yard receiver.
I don't know if he's the type of quarterback that's got.
No, he is the type of quarterback that does that. He's done it with 6 different people.
Okay, but you talk about
you said there's better talent at Notre Dame than he had at Wake Forest. That's what you said.
It's just about targets. Is he going to give Tobias 10 targets in a game? Is he the type of quarterback that looks for best matchup, best player, or is he going to go through the slow mesh reads and all of that? If he's like, man, this is my Calvin Johnson, Tobias Mayweather, oh, absolutely.
So we're about to have 3,600 yards divided up by 8 receivers, basically. That's what you're telling me.
Hold on, let me divide it.
Here you go with the division again. He's put out. Go, wait a minute. Are you about to divide this by name?
Okay, it's perfect math. Okay.
wait. No.
I did 3,560 divided by, I said 5 receivers.
Okay, 5 receivers.
The average is 730.
That's less than 750. You do realize that's less than 750. You lost the bet, right?
But that's through 5 receivers. I think Tobias will have more than the fifth receiver on the team. That's just the average of 5 receivers having 730.
Well, I'm just telling you, based upon your average, you're losing the bet at 750. I'm just
based upon the average, but we know that not all 5 receivers going to have the same amount of yards. Now, I do think that Tobias Merriweather will have the higher end of those averages. He'll have close to 750, over 750. But Salerno not getting no 730 this season. And he's probably the 4th, 5th receiver on the team right now. It goes Tobias, JT, Deion Cosley. You throw a freshman in there, the name can vary.
This is what I'm talking about. I see somebody in the chat saying he'll have the ability to spread the ball around in Notre Dame. He's had seasons at Wake Forest where he had 2 1,000-yard receivers on the same team. Stop that. Yeah, stop that. Just stop. This ain't the first opportunity for Sam Hartman to spread the ball around. The mesh option offense specifically gives him the ability to spread the ball around. So stop hedging. And I need everybody to tell me who's going to be the 1,000-yard receiver. Just tell me. Who? Who's going to be the 1,000-yard receiver? That's all I'm asking. Everybody wants to hedge and tell me who has it in them, who has the talent, who's going to do it. Tell me. That's all I'm saying. Tell me who is going to be the 1,000. Just tell me. Just tell me. That's it. Because when it comes down to winning these big games, nobody wants to hear who has it in them. Who's going to do it? Notre Dame needs, this is what I've been getting to. Notre Dame needs that big-time receiver in these big games. They need someone that defenses can be scared of. They need that. They need that.
Oh, computer died. Sorry.
That's the point. The point I'm getting to, Left, is that while everybody else is hedging and talking about what can be done, you're not winning these 3 big games unless you have a dude at receiver.
I believe we do have guys at receiver this year.
Okay. And my point was, you said JT. JT is your dude.
JT's our number 1 this year right now.
Okay.
It's all depending on Sam. If Sam go in there, it's like, look, Tobias is just a freak. I know JT's our number one in the scheme of things, but I gotta get Tobias Mayweather rolling. I gotta get him to rock more than usual, more than the fit of what the offense is calling for. Because if he's that type of guy,
Yeah.
then yeah, I can see a Tobias having a hugely successful season. But it also goes back to I just don't believe that Jared Parker is going to lessen the run game to the effect of where Sam Hartman is throwing for 4,500, 4,000 yards in the season. Now, if Sam is making the most out of it on some Kevin Durant taking 23 attempts and getting 300 yards out of it,
Uh-huh.
hell yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll take an efficient quarterback. But if Sam is a volume quarterback where he's got to take 35, 40 attempts a game, it changes the dynamic of our offense. But I think that it also depends on how Jared Parker's wanting to play it. If we come out those first three games like, look, we're throwing it 40 times, then I believe that Tobias will have over 1,000 yards. Of course. But because I don't believe that we're just going to abandon what we're really good at and been really good at for years and be closer to balance instead of being closer to being Sam being the hero, I think it would affect his numbers to where he'll have a great season, but he's not gonna have the season of what Heisman guys usually win it like. I'll never forget.
Uh-huh.
Ian Book, we won 10 games and
Mm-hmm.
had less than 3,000 yards passing. And damn near less than 1,000 running. And he was the winningest quarterback of all time at Notre Dame.
That's not happening this year. You can't put up those stats this year, you going 0-3
You go 0-3 in
in
the
those
big.
big games. Facts.
So it's like
I
we
just want to point this
improving.
out to you. Safe to say that Ohio State has a plethora of wide receivers. That's safe to say.
Yeah, they got two top 10 guys.
Okay. Safe to say C.J. Stroud, who was second in the nation and accounted for touchdowns right in front of Sam Hartman. He threw for 3,688 yards last year. That's right in your pocket for Sam Hartman, right? He threw
3,600 yards, right?
3688 for him. You said Sam Hartman was 3560, right?
3560. Yep.
3560, same ballpark. They had, wait a minute, let me make sure because you talk about spreading the ball around. They had 4 receivers with over 30 receptions.
4 receivers over 30. Okay.
4, yeah. 4 receivers had over 30 receptions. But only 2 receivers accounted for 66% of the yardage.
Okay. Now the level of talent between those 4 receivers, I'm sure, are different than the
Oh,
level of
without
talent
question.
between the level of talent between our 4 top receivers. I
My
think there's
point is, you have a big time quarterback
yes.
and you have talented receivers, which you said Notre Dame has, which is
Yes.
an advantage for Sam Hartman. There is no
Depending on how he
way.
uses it.
Okay,
Depending on how
wait.
he uses
If Sam Hartman throws for 3560, like you said,
it. Okay.
there is no way Notre Dame should not have 2 receivers account for 1,750 yards. No way. That's only half. That's only half of the yardage.
Let me do a calculator. Hold on.
Here we go with the calculator again.
1,700 yards. That's still not a
1,750.
1,000-yard receiver though.
No. That's a 1,000-yard receiver and a 750-yard receiver.
Oh, okay. I'm splitting that in half. Yeah, I mean,
That's 1,750.
that's
That's
1750.
half. That's a little under half. That's not even half. That's a little bit under half of the 3,560.
And you said one receiver's gonna get exactly 1,000? I don't know.
I'm just saying 2 receivers should be able to combine for 1,750 yards in this offense. That's all I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yes. I think 2 should account for half of Sam's yardage. However, being that we are talented at every position and deep at every position,
And there's not a dominant tight end in
there's
the
not.
passing offense.
which might open up more passing opportunities for multiple tight ends. Then you got Chris Tyree coming into the fold. He's got to touch the ball 25, 30 times in the past game, or you wouldn't have moved him, in my opinion.
That's
Tobias Merriweather got to touch it 10, 15 times in the game. GAT got to get it 10, 15 times. And then Aldrich and Jadarian and Jabron, that's 40 plays between those three right there. So how many plays we getting in the game? How many plays we getting in the game?
yo.
If we
Let's
average around 65, 70 plays in the game, 40 is to the run game. Right there. 40, right there. Automatic. 40 either handoffs or little dump off screens or some shit like that. Like that's 40 attempts on that. Or you would be doing a disservice to the running back room and the offense in general to get those boys off Sam's back.
Facts.
So that leaves 25, 30 attempts throwing maybe. And don't let it be no close game.
Hey, I'll
Or
tell you
don't let
what.
it be no game from the lead unless we change our perspective on playing from a lead. Until we change our perspective on playing from a lead, I don't see us throwing over 300 yards a game.
I'll tell you one thing. If it was me on the controller, we throwing that thing. I don't
I
care.
agree.
I don't care who's in the backfield.
Should be
If
70
I'm,
throwing,
if
30
I'm
running.
playing EA Sports football, college football 2023, I'm throwing that thing.
100%.
Sam Hartman, Chris Tyree, Tobias Merriweather, Jaden Thomas. Oh, I'm throwing that thing.
We throwing it.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the run game when we like up 28. We just trying to run the clock out.
28. But that's how we should be. But if I'm Jared Parker at the same time, you want to get some victories under your belt. Them first 3 games, you just looking to win. If I'm Jared Parker, I'm just looking to win convincingly. And maybe throw some style on there because we ain't even had that in a while.
Yeah. Jason said, man, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Because of attempts. We're running the football hella high water.
I don't think attempts. I think their yard per attempt is going to be so much. RG Estimate has a chance to average 6 to 7 yards per
6,
attempt.
7 yard carry. Easy.
So that's like 170 yards.
And
170
if
attempts.
you got a rotation in running back, I'll say at minimum 4 yards a carry. At minimum. And he may touch it, gotta be 12 times in the game.
Yeah.
I don't care how you do it.
If he's getting 6, 7 yards a pop and he's touching it 15, 16 times a game, he's on the verge of 100 right there.
And you see 15, 16 is a standard. That's not including the backup running backs 15, 16 or 10, 12 carries. That's a must.
Yeah.
So Sam is like, by attrition, you're not going to get that many attempts. How?
Yo, we did 3 shows, bro, because we turned this from Marcus Freeman, the roster, into Sam Hartman's disrespect into
where the
Notre
yards
Dame,
going to come from?
where the yards coming from and Notre Dame needing dudes at wide receiver to step forward. Yo, this has been a fantastic conversation, a fantastic show.
We need the
Lefty
transfer
podcast.
at receiver like we got the transfer at DB from Rhode Island. We get one of them speedy, quick inside slot players. I think Sam going to have 4,000 yards. But that's a recruiting thing.
Lefty podcast. Thanks for everyone that chimed in today. Man, keep it lit in the chat as always. Super chat before we get out of here. Truman Theodore Dumel, thank you, my man. They sleeping on us, super dude heavy. Let them sleep. Let them sleep like Rip Van Winkle. We building a juggernaut in South Bend, Indiana. That's what's up. Yo, we owed the fans from yesterday. Yo, like I said yesterday, it was just a tough day. We had to honor here in Chicago fallen police officer Ariana Preston that was laid to rest on yesterday.
And the Chicago mayor, what's up with him, man?
Brandon Johnson.
What's up with him, man?
The new mayor.
New mayor tripping. How you gonna do what he did and then show up to the funeral on the same day? Like what? Yeah,
Look,
I mean, I
but
thought it was over Lightfoot.
the Preston family is part of some of the Preston family is part of our ministry. So we supported them on yesterday. Has been tough. A young lady that was days away from receiving her bachelor's degree as well from the University of Loyola, I believe, and just tragically taken for no reason. And our hearts and our condolences and prayers will continue to go out to that family. Um, yeah, left. It's tough. We had to do that yesterday, but we're back today. We pretty much gave you two shows rolled into one. That's what we do. We do it for you guys each and every day right here at Lefty Podcast. You know what time it is, Left.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic Petty Junction?
Petty Junction, pettiest story of the day brought to you by Onora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. The ACC goes on a petty train. They thought they were solid because the rights, the ROGs for the schools, or the GORs, I'm sorry, lasted until 2036, and yet 7 schools are trying to lead the ACC this summer. Led by Florida State and Clemson, who have fallen behind other schools and conferences like the Big Ten and the SEC by a reportedly $30 million annually in revenue.
Ooh.
Look, Notre Dame was probably sitting back, chilling. But yeah, ACC and the way you're handling this, you need to come to the table and negotiate that hard ball and the hard buyout.
That's right.
For these institutions, eventually they're going to take it to court. They're going to get it overturned.
Yeah,
because they're losing more money, and they would much rather just pay now and go get the extra $30 million that they're losing every year. You're mishandling this entire situation, and the dissolution of the ACC might be the next step to these super conferences, bro. Because Florida State and Clemson are going to the SEC,
and that's the money right there. That's the money in the conference right there.
You can book that.
They go to SEC, it's gonna be shoot. It's gonna have to be the super conference. Is the Pac-12 is gonna have to figure its way out.
Man.
But right now it's the Big Ten and the SEC. I feel like are the conferences that are going to be the two remaining.
Well, you know the Big Ten once they stepped out and did what they did.
LA, they said we going global, nationwide. That's why it should be a Champions League, and it should be an American conference.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Next up on the petty train, have you ever thought about or stood at a mall and looked over the ledge of the second level and said, you know, it doesn't look that far. I wonder what would happen if I could jump.
Hell no.
If I would make it. Anybody ever looked over the ledge of the mall and did that? Well, we go to Tucson, Arizona, where someone actually robbed the Apple store and in trying to escape,
busted his hip.
Thought this might be a good idea.
Ooh.
Excuse the language.
Come on, y'all.
Nah, I deserve to say some of that.
The fact that he tried to get up and thought his leg was good.
He broke his leg,
He thought his leg was good.
It's his neck.
Nah, he busted his hip. put on the register.
He broke something.
I'll take the stuff that he stole, put it back in the store, and be like, find your way home.
Bro.
Find your way home. I ain't finna call nobody for
No.
you.
Wait.
Crawl out the store.
Look at this man. Look at this man.
Yeah.
Just hanging.
Yeah.
And he thought it was good. He's like, if I can hang and shorten the distance, I should be straight.
No.
Oh my God. Oh shit. Oh shit. Go. Come on, y'all.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He broke this leg. Yeah.
Man.
Is his neck?
You know the amount of pain he was in at that point,
Oh,
bro?
man, you bust your hip and pelvis like that. It's man, listen, you begging for some help.
Oh my God. And last but not least, I don't know if this happened to you, but if you were watching the fourth quarter, the most important part of the game between the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics last night, and streaming it on YouTube TV as I was, you got a repeated commercial of The Little Mermaid for about 5 minutes.
They pushing it too hard.
And you literally missed the end of the Celtics Heat game. It happened to a lot of subscribers to YouTube TV. Now, this comes on the verge of YouTube TV being connected to the NFL with the new package. On top of that, the NFL broke a deal.
That ad money come first now.
Yo, tell me what you think about this, though. Peacock, that will also be streaming NFL games, just got exclusive rights to a wild card game next season that will only be seen on Peacock.
Well, I got Peacock. I'm checking out Martha's Vineyard.
Woo!
Check out that show on Peacock. It's a great show.
How angry our NFL team, man. Peacock is about to get a lot of subscribers in NFL fans.
For one weekend. Hell yeah.
Hey, go ahead, Peacock. Show us you cut checks. We know the money's there. You can't tell us the money's not there.
That's the money not there.
We see you. Keep cutting the checks. Because when it's time to pay that 75, we're going to need you to send it across. Matter of fact, we don't need a check. Just wire it.
Just wire that thing.
Just wire the thing. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Before we go, I said I had a tidbit from Justice Scott. Text with him yesterday. Joked with him about his Crocs. And we talked about some NBA playoffs. He's in a great mood. Said he's chilling. And he's super excited to make his decision. He's in great spirits at Notre Dame. Ladies and gentlemen, it's in a really good position.
That's right.
That's all I can tell you.
That's right.
Notre Dame is in a really good position going into the month of June.
That's right.
He feels good about Notre Dame. That's all I'll tell you. Lucky Lefty Podcast, man. Great show. Don't forget CFB Nation, YouTube. Follow us. Jump in. Let us know what you think about the audio edibles we give you each and every day. For my man, the original Lucky Lefty, I'm Shaun Davis. Tomorrow, for the Culture Friday, right here, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Have a great Thursday, but most of all, you got to make sure that you spin it different.